Reject normal anime, embrace monkey. Before we get to today's video, I want to take a moment to talk about Patreon. That's right, we are on Patreon now, and we have a bunch of tiers with a bunch of great rewards. You can subscribe and get things like early access to all reactions, depending on your tier, depends on which reactions you get early access to. You can vote on polls exclusive to patrons that will help determine future reaction series and more. You will get to just have various choices in terms of like getting to choose future reactions I react to, getting to choose first impressions I check out, all kinds of different rewards, and possibly more coming in the future. We're still new at this. We're still figuring things out. It's a process. It's a process. But we have multiple tiers, so whatever you would be able to donate, if you're able and willing to donate, is appreciated. It helps me out, it helps the channel out, it helps us grow. It's going to help just, standardly. It's just something new to check out. Plus, if you like getting the reactions early, that's also a plus. But it is optional. If you're unable to do it, that's completely fine. All reactions will come to YouTube just a little bit later, a week later or so. So that all being said, thank you as always so much, and let's get on with today's video. And with that being said, hey everyone, welcome to Princess of Gay. I'm your host Connie, and today we are here with my first impressions reaction to the Darwin incident. So this is an anime series that is airing for this season. I've been trying to do this for the past couple seasons, trying to check out at least a couple series each season as a first impression to just kind of get a vibe for new stuff that's coming out and seeing if it's something that could be good for reactions. Now, this series, I don't know everything about it. I don't know a lot about it, but I do know that this was hyped up prior to its release. And what I know is that there's like this human-monkey hybrid. I don't know if there's more than one, but I know there's one. And the series is supposed to be like a very serious kind of deconstruction of things like evolution and humanity and just stuff like that. And I'm very curious as to how in-depth it's going to go, how serious it's going to get. If you looked at it at the base level, it would look kind of unserious because of like the main character being like a half human, half monkey, I think teenager. But from what I've heard, it's supposed to be like very serious and probably pretty intense based off of, I guess, the manga. Now, outside of that, I don't really know what we're getting into, but I have decided we're going to watch the dub for this. It's being simuldubbed, and just kind of out of a random decision, I decided, you know what? We haven't checked out a dub in a little bit. Let's check out a dub for this one. Don't know what people are going to think of that, but I don't entirely care. If I'm being completely honest, I have no problem with dubs, and you're never going to see me being a dub hater on this channel. So, some dubs are better than the Japanese. I'll say it, and I'll say it again. Some dubs are better. It just depends on the series, just depends on the dub. So, we're going to check out the dub for this one. And for those of you who are new to the channel and don't know what a first impression is, let me explain that real quick. So, on this channel, I do something called a first impression reaction. And what that is I check out the first episode or so of a series and determine if it's something that I want to continue to react to in the future, something I want to watch on my own time, or something I'm just not interested in. It's basically a way for me to check out shows that I probably wouldn't otherwise watch or react to, and give them a chance when, again, I probably wouldn't before. Or in some cases, it's like I'm just not sure if it's something I want to personally react to. Sometimes I would prefer to watch things on my own time. So we're going to check this out. We're going to make that determination, and I'll obviously say in the afterthoughts what that's going to be. But before we get this going, one last thing to mention. I do have a Patreon now. This started at the beginning of the year. It's brand new to the channel, and it does help out a lot. I don't get monetized for my videos here on YouTube. I don't really feel like I have enough viewers to make that viable. So instead, we have a Patreon. You can go to the link that is in the description below to check it out. And there are multiple tiers that offer various rewards. From the $5 tier and up, you start getting early access to reactions. Each tier has a different type of reaction that adds to early access. The $5 tier gets movies, the $10 gets movies and shows, and so on and so forth. There's a comprehensive breakdown of all the tiers on the Patreon page. You can see what all the rewards are. And there's other stuff too, like voting on exclusive polls in the future and getting to select things each month for me to specifically check out, stuff like that. And like I said, it does help me out a lot. Doing YouTube full time like this can take a lot out of me, and also is not very good on the pockets, if I'm being honest. It's completely optional though, because all reactions will still come to the YouTube channel. You just get them early over on Patreon, among the other rewards. But you don't have to do it if you're just unable to or unwilling for whatever reason. It's completely optional. That being said, let's get into today's reaction and see what we have in store. Hold up just a sec. Before you click that link down in the description below to get to today's video, I want to remind you of all the awesome content we have both on this channel and the Princess of Gaming channel. Let's check it out. Welcome to the Afterthoughts. We'll begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. This series is gonna be something to talk about. I feel like with a show like this, there's gonna be a lot of discussions on both sides of the aisle in regards to so many aspects of just the ethics of it, the questions about humanity, questions about animal rights, and so much else. It's one of those series that I feel like is going to be extremely divisive because of this context. I mean, the first episode also touches on stuff like progressivism and whatnot, which is already super divisive anytime it's brought up in any kind of anime. Whenever like modern terms or progressiveness is talked about in an anime, like there are those people who instantly try to argue, oh, don't throw politics into our anime. We're trying to escape the real world. And the people who say this are almost always on the right, by the way. And they're saying this because they don't want specifically more progressive politics. They don't say this kind of stuff when it's more right-leaning. You ever notice that? They never complain when there's right-leaning stuff. If an anime like praises and shows off constant war and stuff and the conflicts between nations and stuff like that, they don't complain about that. Because they like war, they like conflict, they like military might over other nations. But whenever it talks about just progressive policies and ideals and stuff, that most of the time isn't even necessarily political. It's just, you know, humanitarian stuff. they like bitch and complain every time. Um, it's the same group of people that also bitch and complain about anime featuring any kind of modern slang, which is also a stupid complaint in my eyes. And you can like and dislike whatever you want, but I'm also allowed to have my opinions on it. I find that to be a stupid complaint because, especially if you're following characters in a modern day setting who, are of the age group that would use that kind of slang, it would actually kind of be weird for them to not use it. Just because you find it cringe or annoying doesn't mean that it doesn't exist. And if you're like watching a series that's set in 2020 anything, any year from the 2020s, you're going to hear a lot of modern slang, especially if a character is that kind of character. Like Kami from My Hero Academia, who even in the original manga in the Japanese speaks in slang. So it's like, that's just something to expect. But there's going to be people who bitch about that here. And then there's going to be people who bitch about the idea of animal conservation and animal rights because of the fact that this terrorist group in this series is acting under the guise of an animal rights group. And unfortunately, this kind of thing is a real problem in the world, too. There's a lot of rights groups out there, whether it's animal rights, women's rights, just all kinds of stuff like that, who commit terrorist acts under the guise of their ideologies. And the reason they do this is not because they actually believe in these ideologies. They may have like a minor like belief and interest in that kind of stuff, but their real goal is to basically enact power against people they just don't like. And they use their dislike of how animals are treated in this situation by labs and whatnot in order to give them reason to attack and kill people. That's why you saw what we saw in this episode. You saw the one guy note oh, but a child was killed in that blast. Isn't that wrong? But then the one guy who I guess might be the leader of the group, it's kind of unclear what the social structure of it is right now. He comes out and says oh, you only care about the human who died. You don't care about any small animals that might have been caught in that blast. We're at war. We have to accept that there's going to be some casualties. It's like this is a guy who doesn't really care all that much about saving animals. This is a guy whose only goal is to attack people he doesn't like. And you see this all the time. You see this all the time in modern America. There are people who join certain groups who only do so not because they have any interest in enacting that group's responsibility and laws and policies and whatnot, but because they want an excuse to be able to hurt others. And I'm just going to come out and say it. ICE. Fuck ICE. I'm not gonna play center here. I'm not gonna pretend otherwise. Fuck ICE. Fuck anybody who supports ICE. ICE are a terrorist group. And people who have joined ICE are doing so because they get to hurt people. That guy who killed the woman recently, when she was just trying to drive around, she didn't do a single damn fucking thing to him. She did not try to run him over, and she did not do anything to him. She didn't hurt him. The entire bullshit story about her hitting him or running him over and him having internal bleeding is absolute fucking lies. But that guy, he didn't join ICE because he wanted to make America safer, quote unquote, by stopping illegal immigrants or whatnot. He joined ICE so he could hurt people, so he could kill people, and be legally, even though he's not technically legally allowed to do that, but so that because under Trump he would be legally okay. He's not going to actually like suffer any real consequences because Trump is going to stand up for him. And if he were sentenced, Trump would, get him out of prison right away. Because Trump sees him as a hero, and. But I'm not going to get all into that. Like, that's just an example of what I'm trying to say here. This group in here, this ALA, I think they were called, are like that. They're using animal rights to push their real agenda of, causing mayhem, hurting people, killing people, causing destruction, because that's what they really want to do. They want control, they want power, they want to be on top. And there's so many groups of people like this in the world, and it's fucking disgusting. But this series is going to touch on other topics too. We touched on veganism in this episode, and the ethics of vegans, and you had that like absolute asshat of a I assume he's probably a senior based on his looks, but of a student harassing Charlie with the entire moral hypothetical. Which, by the way, anytime someone brings up those kind of hypotheticals for the sheer point of arguing with someone's belief system or ideology, it's always in bad faith. It is always an argument and a question made in bad faith, specifically to try and act as a gotcha to the person that they're harassing. He specifically posed this question trying to lead Charlie into a specific answer, and Charlie did not go with what this asshat wanted him to. He did not lean into the answer that he was quote unquote supposed to. Instead, he gave a genuine, real answer. An honest answer. And Charlie seems like right now the kind of character who's not gonna view this kind of stuff in any other way than logically. He, like I said I believe in the reaction, he's not cold exactly. He's just very, his personality is very flat. And again, I think that's going to change as the series progresses. I think that with Lucy and others that he meets, he's going to be able to develop more of an active personality. And I'm fine with that. I'm fine with him starting out a little flat or a little more logical more than emotional. Because I think that's going to be a major point to his progression as a character throughout, and the progression of the kind of questions regarding humanity and his existence in a way. I think him and Lucy becoming friends is going to be a major lead-in for them learning more about each other as well. Obviously, because that was kind of the lead-in to their friendship starting. She was wondering what the world would be like through the mind of a humanzee like him. And he questioned the same about what the world was like through the eyes and mind of a human. And I think that's entirely fair. We also see lesser, how do I put this? People who are not as mean as that bully was, not as rude and terrible, but still just clearly see Charlie as something to look and gawk at. Those girls, for example, who clearly were not trying to harass him or trying to be mean to him, and were even upset at the bully for doing so. Those girls were still viewing him as someone to get a selfie with, a celebrity almost. and they were treating him as someone like, special is the wrong word. They were treating him as like almost lesser in a way, but not lesser enough to be bigoted against, just lesser enough to not really like take his feelings and take his like privacy and whatnot seriously in that kind of regard. And mind you, he agreed to it because I, again, don't think he really understands kind of social cues and ideas and social etiquette and whatnot. Despite, growing up with these parents who I don't think it's said, but I presume are scientists, he's got like very little actual personality to him, and probably has not had much of any social interactions with anyone besides them, which has probably stunted his growth because he's 15. They specifically said that. He's 15 years old and he has probably had almost no interactions with other people his age. And that's going to stunt someone's growth, even if they have parents, even if they're taught things. He's not going to be able to interact as well as a 15-year-old human in this case. And plus, again, we don't technically know how his mind works yet exactly. We don't know like how he learns and how his emotions even can come out based on like how the combination of him being, half chimp, half human. We don't know exactly how that works yet. But that doesn't mean that he deserves to be mistreated or abused or seen as lesser. Because no matter like how much of like some crazy experiment caused his existence, he is a living being capable of conscious thought, capable of high-level intelligence, which chimps are already super intelligent, by the way. But human-level intelligence, possibly even higher. And as such, he deserves to be treated like any human would. And yes, that is my official stance on this. And again, this is something that's going to be argued. This is something that's going to be debated amongst people who watch this. He is human. He is also chimp. He is both, but he is human. And he deserves to be treated like a human. And I think Lucy is going to be like someone who definitely is able to give him that. Again, outside of his parents. So I'm very excited to see that kind of element to this series, to see their relationship grow, to see how they can help each other learn about each other. But obviously there's also, again, the more philosophical aspects of this, the aspects related to the ALA, and so much else that we have to tackle as well. And I'm just very curious to see what this show can do, what it can like exposit about the world and humanity as a whole. I think that there's so much possibility, so much potential, and I'm very interested in continuing this. Specifically as a reaction, I should specify that. I don't know when we'll be able to get back to this, just like any first impression I do. It's just a matter of like when I get a slot open, as well as when I feel like I'm ready to get back to this. Because some shows I might like not want to get to right away. Some shows I might want to get to like if I'm feeling up for that kind of series at the time. And for this, it's just we'll have to see. It might come soon. It might come later. We might not get to this for a while. I don't know. I can't promise anything right now, so I'll let you know when it does. And for now, thank you so much for tuning in. Let me know your thoughts on this first episode. What do you think of the the philosophical and ideological concepts behind this. And where do you stand on some of this stuff? Please keep it civil, of course, no matter what side you stand on. Don't be an asshole. I always say that in my comments. Don't be an asshole. But let me know your thoughts down below. And for now, I'm Connie, and I'm signing off. See y'all next time.